the Trey Lance easy for him to say, the season-ending ankle injury suffered by Trey Lance will have ramifications because now Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back, and he never left, and they're lucky he never left. And this is the proper usage, I believe. I've considered it. I've had leading researchers confirm it. This is the proper usage of ironic. The fact that the 49ers were squatting on Jimmy Garoppolo in the hopes that a starting quarterback elsewhere would get injured and they would be able to trade him and get value for him, and ended up keeping him. And, of course, the catastrophic season-ending injury happens, Myles, to their starting quarterback, enter Jimmy G.
Yeah, and it sucks for Trey Lance. It really does. Anytime you're talking about a guy who is coming up, people are excited about him in the locker room. They obviously gave up a lot of draft capital in order to go get him last year, make him the third overall selection in the 2021 draft. And now you're in this situation where it's like break glass in case of emergency. And what you break the glass to is the quarterback who took you to the Super Bowl in 2019, who got you to the NFC Championship game last year. And I mean, I like to say all the time that unless you're the 2017 Eagles, if you lose your starting quarterback, you're screwed. This is a situation where actually the 49ers might have just gotten better, at least for today, right? If we're in week 3 and the 49ers are trotting out Jimmy Garoppolo, who is experienced, who understands exactly the way the players play around him. He's familiar with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan knows how to call plays for him. Like, there is reason to say that the 49ers are going to be better in the immediate aftermath of this Trey Lance injury. However, the ceiling on Trey Lance is probably a little bit higher, right? So once we get to like week 15, week 16, week 17, week 18, are the 49ers going to be better then with Jimmy Garoppolo than if Trey Lance had played the whole season? We'll never really know. But at least for right now, I mean, it's kind of strange, Mike, but this makes me feel like the 49ers can win the NFC West. And I don't know if I felt that way going into yesterday's games.
Let's hear directly from the head coach of the 49ers, the mastermind of the plan to utilize all that draft capital to get Trey Lance, to nudge Jimmy Garoppolo to the curb and then bring him back in. Sorry, Jimmy, we didn't really mean it. We actually would like to keep you around. Here's Kyle Shanahan talking about what happened yesterday.
All right, guys, the injuries that we had, Trey Lance, obviously, he ended up breaking his ankle. He'll end up getting surgery tomorrow morning. We're really hoping to see a lot of him this year. So to have that bad of an injury to where you can't come back from it, we feel for him. But if anyone can do it, it's him.
And they have him under contract for 2 more years, plus the 5th-year option if they choose to exercise it. Presumably he'll be the guy next year. Jimmy Garoppolo will be a free agent. There is no way that the 49ers can keep him from becoming a free agent. Now, they could re-sign him if they chose to. They would have to compete with everyone else who would be interested in him if it gets to that point where he enters the open market. They obviously have exclusive negotiating rights until then, and who knows what they'll do. The one thing that we've learned based upon what's transpired with Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers is you can't rule out anything at this point, including Garoppolo sticking around for 1 more year as they wait and see whether or not Trey Lance is healed following the surgery he'll have today. And here's the other issue with Garoppolo. There's no guarantee he's going to stay healthy. That's one of the reasons why they fell out of love with him. He's not durable. And that's another layer and level of irony. The guy you trade up, proper usage, the guy you trade up for, the guy you get to bring in to be your quarterback because your starter who took you to a Super Bowl almost won it, and then last year, after his replacement had been drafted, almost took you back to another Super Bowl. This guy's got a serious injury that ends his season a week earlier than Jimmy Garoppolo's season was ended back in 2018 when he entered the season as the full-time starter for the first time in his career. So you have one quarterback with injury issues, and now you have another. And it's not the first time Trey Lance has had injury issues. Every time he played last year, he got injured. So that's a separate issue long-term for the 49ers to come to grips with. Because whenever Trey Lance is healthy again and you put him back out there, you're going to be concerned that this is the narrative and he's going to continue to get injured. But for the balance of this year, Miles, it can't be Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, the last guy taken in the 2022 draft out of Iowa State. I hate saying Mr. Irrelevant in a 7th-round draft, and I think that whole thing is kind of goofy and hokey and overplayed. But it's Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. You better have somebody else who's ready to come in and play, because you have to assume at some point there's a good chance Garoppolo's getting injured too.
Yeah, that is sort of the unfortunate assumption that you have to make, but you do have to make it, right? I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten through every single game of a season except for maybe 2019. And maybe I should not just say things off the cuff like this without actually knowing what I'm talking about. But there's a good chance, which we know because Jimmy Garoppolo's been there for as long as he's been there, that at some point he's going to have to miss a game. And so because of that, yeah, whether it's Brock Purdy, I don't know if they want to go out and get Nick Mullins for wherever Nick Mullins is now. CJ Beathard might be rolling around the streets somewhere. It's another guy that knows their system. It's not going to be a good situation no matter what they do if they also lose Jimmy Garoppolo. Because again, they're lucky that they have him on the roster, but at the same time, you get down to your third quarterback, what team can withstand losing your top 2 QBs and still be really good? There's no team that can really do that.
The 49ers could, though, because it's all system driven. If they have somebody who is ready to go in the event that Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured. The problem is, we've seen in the past the quality of the backups the 49ers have had behind Jimmy Garoppolo. Not good. And they had Nate Sudfeld. He lost the roster spot competition with Purdy, and Sudfeld's currently on the Lions' active roster, so they'd have to trade for him if they wanted to get him. They can sign any free agent that's out there, obviously. There just aren't a lot of them. At this stage of the game, when you've got 32 teams with depth charts and practice squads, there just aren't a lot of guys that you can call up and say, hey, here's a job. And for the guys on practice squads, you can offer them jobs. They don't have to take them. You'd have to put them on your active roster, not on your practice squad, because that's the other thing they could do is just sign a free agent to the practice squad. But if a guy's on a practice squad, you can't do that. And there's a little quirk in the rules that screws the 49ers this week to the extent that they would want to bring back Josh Johnson for probably a 3rd or 4th stint with the team. He's on the Broncos practice squad, and that's the one rule that prevents you from signing a guy to the active roster from another team's practice squad. If you're within 6 days of playing that team, 10 days if that team is coming off of a bye, you can't touch him. So they may be interested in Josh Johnson as the game day backup for Garoppolo, but because he's on the Broncos practice squad, no dice. Pro tip, by the way, you are accurate about the Jimmy Garoppolo playing every game and starting every game of the 2019 season. When in doubt, just keep going. Because
I know.
Before anyone can call you out, they've got to notice. And if you speak, one thing I've learned in 14 years of doing this, if you speak authoritatively, there's a pretty good chance no one's going to notice that you're wrong.
Well, all right, yeah. This is only my second Monday, Mike. I got a lot to learn, man. I got a lot to learn. We're learning.
They'll
let you fly a plane if you do it with confidence. Yeah,
real time, on the fly. Just act like you know what you're doing. I feel like Homer and Bart, the 3 most important sayings to get yourself through the day. Good idea, boss. It was like that when I got here, and there was one more that I can't remember. And see, I screwed up. I should have just made something up and spoken with authority, and no one would have known. There really was. Now it's going to bother me because I used to know those by heart, and it's making me wonder, is my brain starting to get a little, and it possibly is. But there were 3 sayings, the 3 sayings to get you through life, and it was very useful. As Homer was teaching Bart how to shave and then put toilet paper on all the spots where he had. That was the episode where Homer had eaten the poison blowfish and his heart was due to explode in 24 hours. I don't know how to turn that one around. It's going to take a more Herculean effort than what we saw from the Jets, Dolphins, and Cardinals yesterday.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.